Welcome back to Lesson 2, Part 2 on cell structure. The following are the learning objectives. Let us take a closer look at chloroplasts, the organelle that are critical for capturing and converting energy from sunlight into chemical energy. Chloroplasts are found only in plant cells and some other organisms such as algae and certain types of bacteria. Animal cells do not have chloroplasts. These organelles play a key role in the process of photosynthesis, where solar energy is converted into food molecules that store chemical energy. Does anyone recall what photosynthesis is? Think of chloroplasts as the cell's solar collectors. In photosynthesis, chloroplasts absorb energy from sunlight using a pigment called chlorophyll, which gives plant their green color. The solar energy is then used to synthesize sugars or food molecules from carbon dioxide and water. These sugars are chemical energy that both plants and animals rely on. For plants, chloroplasts enable them to produce their own food, which is why they are classified as autotrophs or self-feeders. For animals, even though we do not have chloroplasts, we depend on plants for food. We then break down the sugars plants produce to access the stored energy for our cellular activities. So in summary, chloroplasts are essential for capturing sunlight and turning it into chemical energy. This process supports life on Earth by providing energy for plants and food for animals, creating a vital link in the flow of energy through ecosystems. All cells need energy to perform essential functions like growth, repair, and reproduction. However, cells can only use energy in specific, usable form. Let us explore how this energy is made available to the cell. Mitochondria are the organelles responsible for converting the chemical energy stored in food into compounds that cell can rely or readily use. This process is called cellular respiration. Why are mitochondria referred to as the powerhouse of the cell? Here's the reason. Mitochondria produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is the cell's main energy currency. By breaking down sugars and other food molecules, mitochondria provide the energy needed to fuel various cellular activities. Here are some common misconceptions. Some students might think that mitochondria are found only in animal cells, while chloroplasts are exclusive to plant cells. However, this is incorrect. Mitochondria are found in nearly all eukaryotic cells, including plant cells. Plants have both chloroplast and mitochondria because they need to break down the food they make during photosynthesis to access energy, just like animals do. Think about a meal you recently ate. It could be bread, fruit, or meat. Let us trace its energy back to these two processes. First, photosynthesis. The chloroplasts in plants converted sunlight into chemical energy stored in food molecules such as glucose. In cellular respiration, when you eat that food, your mitochondria breaks down these molecules into ATP, providing energy for your body to function. For example, if you ate bread, the wheat plant used chloroplasts to perform photosynthesis and produce carbohydrates. When you eat bread, your mitochondria break down those carbohydrates, releasing the energy stored in them. In summary, mitochondria are essential for cellular respiration, converting food into usable energy. This process connects all living organisms, showing how plants and animals rely on each other to maintain the flow of energy within ecosystems. Let us think about the role of boundaries, like a fence around a property. A fence serves multiple purposes. It keeps unwanted things out, retains things within the yard, and allows access through gates. Similarly, cells have boundaries that control what enters and exits while protecting their contents. All cells have a cell membrane, which acts like a flexible barrier. This boundary controls what substances can pass into and out of the cell. Without the cell membrane, the cell would not be able to maintain its internal environment or homeostasis. Now let us consider cell walls, another type of cell boundary. Cell walls are found in plant cells and prokaryotes, such as bacteria. Cell walls are rigid structures located outside the cell membrane. They provide additional support and protection to the cell, especially for plants and prokaryotes, which often face changing environmental conditions. Let us test your understanding of cellular boundaries. True or false? All cells have a cell membrane. Is it true or false? The answer is true. The cell membrane is a universal feature of cells. The cell membrane is one of the most important structures in a cell, as it regulates what enters and leaves the cell while providing protection and support. Importantly, it is semi-permeable, which means that it only allows certain substances to cross while keeping others out. This image shows a small cross section of the membrane which surrounds the entire cell, as seen in the micrograph. To explain what a cross section is, imagine cutting a lemon or orange in half. The cut reveals a cross section of the rind, just like the illustration shows the inner layers of the membrane. Now let us focus on the building block of the membrane, the phospholipid molecule. The hydrophilic head is electrically attracted to water molecules, while the hydrophobic tail repels water. These properties cause phospholipids to arrange themselves into a bilayer, with the hydrophobic tails pointing inward and the hydrophilic heads facing outward, creating the semi-permeable barrier. Let's look at the fluid mosaic model. The cell membrane is not rigid. Instead, it is flexible, like a fluid, and its components can move and slide past one another. Scientists call this the fluid mosaic model. Let us highlight two key components of the membrane in addition to phospholipids. We have here the membrane proteins. This is found within the phospholipid bilayer. Proteins assist in transporting materials in and out of the cell and play roles in receiving and transmitting messages. The carbohydrate chains often attached to proteins or carbohydrates act as identification or flags, helping the cell interact with its environment and identify itself to other cells. This ends the lesson 2 cell structure. Now you are ready to take the practice quiz.